We can also give you a live look at the Capitol Dome in Washington. House Republicans called off a scheduled vote on a measure that would limit President Trump's war powers in Iran. Democrats brought on the resolution, but the GOP canceled the vote once it became clear they wouldn't have the number to defeat the bill due to absences. And a bill funding President Trump's key priorities, immigration, border security, and his White House ballroom, that stalled on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers won't vote on it until next month, missing the president's self-imposed June 1st deadline. And this comes as a growing number of Republicans are pushing back on a nearly $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund.
This is beyond the pale. This is not good for my colleagues. There's no one positive thing that could be spun out of this between now and November. This is bad policy, it's bad timing, and it's bad politics.
CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe is following the growing tensions over this fund. Ed, as soon as Republican lawmakers start getting folksy and throwing out the sayings, you know it's not good. How does this look from your point of view?
Now, that's one way of looking at it. Good point, Errol. A closed-door meeting on Capitol Hill with Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche perhaps sums it up, because Republicans left that meeting with more questions than answers, and there's just much more skepticism. One lawmaker telling us that the fund is a, quote, curveball that nobody anticipated, as skepticism, especially among Republicans, continues to grow. The Trump administration's new so-called anti-weaponization fund now is costing the president in another way. It's stalling a major Trump priority to fund border security and immigration and customs enforcement. The nearly $1.8 billion fund, created by the Justice Department to compensate people who say they were targeted by government actions, is drawing intense pushback from Democrats.
People are hurting, and this administration is acting as if the American people are their ATM.
And now a growing number of Republicans, like North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis, who calls the fund, quote, a payout pot for punks.
Under what circumstances would it ever make sense to provide restitution for people who were either pled guilty or were found guilty in a court of law?
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche tried to make the case to Republican senators in what sources described as a tense meeting. Senator Tommy Tuberville told CBS News Blanche said there would be no compensation for those who assaulted law enforcement. CBS News has reached out to the Justice Department for comment. The confusion is fueling Republican frustration.
This is just stupid on stilts.
But the White House continues to defend the fund.
This settlement is just a small measure of the justice that they are owed.
Among those who say they are owed, Enrique Tarrio, a leader of the Proud Boys, convicted, then pardoned by the president for helping organize the insurrection.
You know, I lost a lot. I was in solitary confinement for 3 years, just in legal fees, right? I'm at like $1.25 million.
Did the interview. Another thing dividing the GOP is the Iran war. In the House, they'd scheduled a vote to limit the president's powers over the war, and it likely would have passed against the White House's wishes. But it's now been postponed and rescheduled for June. Errol?
Really interesting developments. Ed O'Keefe at the White House. Thanks, Ed.